And everybody heard me, right?
At least one person did.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I heard you.
Alrighty, so we have a docket this evening. It's not very long. It's basically some older stuff. Let's see. Let me go ahead and toss this to whoever would like to do this first. We're going to start with the last thing. People wanted a Minecraft meeting, and if so, anybody have a potential date and time for it? Is somebody coordinating that issue by any chance?
I don't really have many specifics, but what I remember is that we want to have a meeting specifically about what we can do with spawn on the server and just kind of that kind of stuff. We had mentioned maybe doing it after this meeting, but we already have something else scheduled with the game night.
Right.
So I guess it was to discuss when a good time would be for that.
I propose next Saturday, which is the off week for meetings, but that's just me. I'd also like to encourage all of you CC members and leaders that do take part in the Minecraft stuff that we have in the server. Encourage those people who are part of the Minecraft server that don't really hang out on Discord and aren't really members to attend a meeting too. So, I mean, if nothing else, maybe they'll be able to get to know and maybe interface with our community a little more and decide they want to be part of more than just the Minecraft server. Just a thought. What you got, Eli?
So, how long do you guys think that meeting would run for the Minecraft spawn?
I don't really have any idea how long it would run.
All right, because next week, it's going to be like the official day that the free to play is going to start at 7 Eastern.
Okay.
So if it wasn't going to be long, we could push back the game night tonight till 7:45, 8 o'clock, depending on how long this meeting goes.
Yeah, I think it's a little late now to announce one for tonight, but
All right,
maybe we can do it next week before the game night.
Oh yeah, that works.
That would work.
All right, sounds good.
All right, cool. I'll see what the other members think.
I don't know what's up with my mic tonight. Can you hear me?
Hi.
I was just going to propose if you guys do that, maybe if it does get scheduled for a game night like that, go ahead and feel free to schedule it 2-3 hours before the game night so you don't even have to worry about it. It doesn't have to be at 7 p.m., If it's on a Saturday, I mean, more people are going to be available, period, so. So, does anybody want to ride point on this and get the time figured out, or? I mean, we brought up the issue. Let's figure out when we want this meeting. And if nobody wants to do that, I'll just name a time, and you guys can just promote that time.
Well, like I said, the game night starts at 7. All of us event people on the mods for the Minecraft server can coordinate together on what time works. I mean, like you said, we can do it a few hours beforehand.
For the purposes of our meeting tonight, and go ahead and say we put this out there for everybody to talk about if they want. let's assume we're going to start something like 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. If that is not good or acceptable to folks that are on the West Coast, for example, that would be when we need to debate maybe changing the time or the day. But for now, let's go ahead and shoot for like 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern on next Saturday. And you guys can just talk it out. And I'm not going to move on until Cassie is done typing.
I'm actually sorry. I'm putting down notes for the nod roll questions and stuff. So while I'm listening, so just keep going. Ignore me.
Oh, okay. Well, we were kind of done with that. I mean, I guess Eli, you guys just as event coordinators will just talk amongst yourselves and tell us sometime during the week when the meeting will be, rather than me putting anything official into the minutes tonight. Yes, no, maybe.
What was that? Sorry, I had to walk away.
I'm just gonna let you guys ECs talk about it, and you can just tell us sometime this week, rather than me putting in an official date and time in the meeting minutes tonight. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our second thing. There's been some discussion about the Warzone role WZ Fire Team getting its own text channel. Any yays or nays on that? I don't really think that's hugely important, but I think the idea was proposed because everybody was hitting each other with the role, and it was beginning to get on Sky's nerves. Okay, so let's leave it at that. Let's just keep pinging Sky.
This is an excellent decision when he's not here.
He has no input. A dedicated ping channel? I don't see how that would work, considering that pings are... Well, I guess you could make a ping go only to a certain channel. That's something to ask our Discord dude about. Right, that's what we were saying, Eli. When there is chat about Warzone, it tends to overwhelm people who have access to all the rules. Okay, so it's kind of funny because I'm bringing up these issues and nobody really has all that much input on them. So as far as I'm concerned right now, on the Minecraft meeting, ECs, event coordinators, are going to get together. They're going to tell us all later what they've decided. As far as the Warzone Fire Team channel, no at this time. And somebody, Kessa has put in evolving nod role. We have a role called the nod, which basically allows people to share links, content links, and things like that. And as you can see, she's posted several nod related things, including a GIF.
That wasn't me. That was fish stick.
Anybody have any thoughts on what she's posted there? Should this be a members only role or case by case basis kind of thing, or? All right, so I would have to agree as well that because, well, first of all, it's a content creator role, so we want to make sure that we're not just giving like open access to somebody to just advertise like crazy. But at the same time, if they don't have the time or energy to go through gaining membership, we, that's part of becoming a member is, so you can get to know people and they can trust you and they can see you participate, that kind of thing. I think something like the nod should be reserved for people who go to that level of participation. Exactly. Members are already vetted to some extent. We could have a separate application. We used to have a separate application for people to join the CC Twitch team back when that was a thing. But that's up to what you guys think. Alrighty, obviously I'm going to wait till all the typing's done here. In the meantime, if you'd like to hear me beatbox to fill the silence, just unmute your mic and scream. Okay, no beatboxing. I don't believe it. Many times Roman successfully scared Global out of the channel.
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on members only or not members only or exceptions. I more just wanted to bring the role up because we have been having questions every time we assign it. Should we do it this way? Should we have done it that way? And nobody's sure anymore how to use it. So what I've seen us do in the past is ask the community what they want because we work for you. So especially if you're new here or if you're a content creator or you've been here for a while or you're a content consumer, we'd like to know what you think. And that's how we've made, I think, some of our best decisions is asking the community.
Doctor, for the nod roll, which basically allows a person to submit content creation links like YouTubes and Twitches and stuff like that that are specific to their creation. Do we need to hold a vote about whether it would be members only or not? I mean, that seems to be the main point that's been brought up, and also the main point that has been dissension on. Don't all run me over at once here.
So I'm going to demonstrate what the nod roll does, or what happens if you don't have the nod roll. I don't have it, so I'm going to post a Twitch link and watch what Fishsticks does to remove that.
It's supposed to remove it.
It's supposed
Sure.
to, but since
It-
you're an
it is
admin, it allowed it.
He didn't allow me last time. Oh, didn't Sky change something with the staff settings? Okay, there. I think Sky was tinkering under the hood this morning. That might have changed that. Thank you, Houdini. My demonstration was not very helpful. But yeah, originally we had some problems with people who would join and then just start dropping their Twitch links, and that's not what the community is for, obviously. So Fishsticks was set up to screen those out unless they had a certain role.
I think what AJ is saying is generally, as a litmus test, we should be members only, but we should occasionally go for like a case by case basis if a person is acceptable but still recognized. Anybody else share that opinion? Several people are typing. Yeah, I'm of the opposite camp. I'm back on the original point, which is if you don't take the time to become a member, why should you be given a special privilege that a member could get much easier? There has to be a distinction between recognized and member, else being a member means very little. In that case, AJ, we should take applications slightly differently, where if a person specifically tells us they have a problem sharing like their real name, they can apply and tell us that they have a problem with sharing their real name, and we'll take that on a case by case basis.
Seeing a pretty clear lean toward members only, and even if we do make that a rule, it doesn't mean we can't make exceptions if there's a really strong case for doing so in the future. If there is a really strong case.
I mean,
We
honestly,
can never change our mind.
to get the nod roll, you have to fill out a form in triplicate and send me $700 anyway. So
Lightning, that's really interesting, and I appreciate you mentioning that, because I did want to hear from people who don't have member tags. What does this feel like to them?
by the way, for those of you that aren't aware, Eli is from a fictional country where 20 bacon wrapped goldfish equals $700. Please pay him no attention. Alrighty, let's wrap up this subject. Any other thoughts? My personal apology, Eli. I did not mean to evoke such a gift from you. I do believe that kind of dovetails into another question, though. Should we possibly look at applications slightly differently? Because there are occasions where we've had, especially younger folks, who would like to apply, but they don't feel comfortable giving away information that their parents wouldn't want them giving away. In a case-by-case situation where that happens, perhaps we could bend the rules for that particular individual on a case-by-case basis? Or no?
Well, what if, like, on the application we said if you don't feel comfortable putting like personal information, you can put NA or whatever, and then one of the council members could talk to that person individually asking why and see if that's a valid reason why. You know what I mean? So that way they're still being vetted to a certain degree, and it's not just like a troll coming in, putting in NA to get in to kind of loophole it.
To me, at the same time, I don't want people to get in an area where they feel they have to apply, and the only reason they're applying is so they can get the nod. That kind of defeats the purpose.
I'd say it's not a great deprivation to anyone here to not have the nod. If, say, they want to have membership, but for some reason they don't feel comfortable giving us their real name, fine. They're welcome here, but they should understand that maybe we don't feel comfortable giving them the nod if they can't meet those basic requirements. I don't think it's too much to ask.
A very good way of putting it, actually. Yeah.
AJ has a point. We could allow them to have an option on the application where they say, I'd prefer to speak with staff. I don't know. I'd still have them fill out the form, but if there's anything they don't want to fill out, they need to maybe check the box that says, I need to talk to a staff member.
It's actually a really good idea. That wouldn't be that hard to add. I also like the suggestion earlier that maybe full names are not required. Really, honestly, the reason that CC has always asked for real names on applications and that sort of information was mainly because that is psychologically the best way to vet someone. Are they willing to give you their first name? If they're not, they're, you know, there's a reason why, if that makes any sense. By the way, just a question, Eli Dold, is Dold your first name or your last name?
Agreed.
Oh, okay. See, I thought your first name was Eli, your last name was Old, and the D was like the Eli the Old.
Pink Jockey, that's funny because we've been discussing the nod roll.
Interesting that Ping Jockey said he's going to smile and nod.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let me go ahead and say, folks, that what we have so far is that it's been decided that a person should at least be a CC or ACC member before getting the nod, though we do leave open the possibility of giving the nod on a case-by-case basis. And we kind of segued into perhaps we should look at our application process a little bit and add in, I believe, AJ, the best way I could say that might be maybe add a little blurb or something in the application that says, I have an issue with sharing certain personal information and would prefer to speak to staff in a voice channel, if that sounds acceptable. That way we could still vet some people, but the people who are like totally against giving all the information don't have to. We'll kind of develop that idea. Okay? And so at this time, we have pretty much cleared everything that was on the docket for the evening. And so I'm going to ask, does anyone, this does not matter who you are, if you are recognized, a member, or just visiting for the night, does anyone have any questions, suggestions, thoughts, concerns, bug reports?
Yeah, hey, so I wanted to say great job to the tech team for rolling out the upgraded website. If it hasn't been mentioned already, you guys knocked it out of the park. It seems a lot quicker and certainly a bit more stable. So awesome and you all for getting that done.
I think I had been talking about it for a little while that our old host was really bad, but honestly, I think Sky really kind of outdid himself. He had to find some really, I guess the word is esoteric little errors and figure them out to get everything working. So if you guys want to pat somebody on the back, give Sky a nice little pat on the back when you see him.
But yeah, you guys did awesome. So.
Fastest Lightning, we were going to go with AWS, but they didn't take our form of payment, so we went with VULTR, Vulture. And so far we have at least double, in some cases quadruple the resources, and we're paying less than half what we used to pay. We have 4 times the system RAM on the server machine and approximately twice as much of everything else. And I'll tell you, as the guy who goes in the back end and like creates pages and so on with the website, it has become a pleasure to do that as opposed to a huge chore like it was when we were on DreamHost, because we were so out of memory and everything on the old host that I was constantly getting 500 errors, 404 errors. I mean, just trying to like reload a page after I've saved it. So I'm definitely a fan of the VPS we have.
And on the upside, if you have to add resources in a hurry, it's fairly straightforward. You know, WordPress is pretty much bulletproof too. So again, kudos.
Okay, somebody's throwing out the whole weed roll thingy.
Yeah, remember way back when Contempt was still here, Sky, who hates anime but will help you no matter what, he helped him set up that role, but they never had enough people to officialize it. So it's still there, unofficialized. And if someone wants an anime channel, I'd suggest they go the route of getting enough people together to officialize that role. There needs to be at least 5. I think there were only 2. And if there's activity, then we can consider creating a text channel for it, which is kind of what's happening right now with the Warzone role. It's generating so much activity that it's being considered for a text channel.
Also, I don't want to be like the evil overseer that like cracks the whip at people to become members and stuff. But it seems like the great majority of people that are asking for a Weeb channel are recognized and not members. So, like, if you want to participate, maybe you should, fire that bullet. That's all I'm saying. Also, I have an old guy question. If they are digital weebs, aren't they just dweebs?
Woo!
Yeah, I don't get it. Sorry.
I mean, do me a favor and actually go to Google and look up dweeb and see what it says, and then look up weeb and see what it says. And the only difference is the Japanese animation. Alrighty, once more, an open call for anybody that has any open meeting business of any kind. Doesn't matter how small, how large, or anything else. Well, actually, the reason I'm a fan of having an anime channel is because once it is an official channel, I can mute it and never see it again. But when you post Anime and Lounge, I can't mute it. See what I did there? That's right, Eli. It sounds diabolical of me, I'm sure, but I want to be able to mute it. I'm not really sure if we should listen to you, Eli, because you like ponies.
All right, I had to unmute for that. No, I don't. I thought it was a funny meme I saw on Reddit.
We'll tell you about the Great Pony War sometime.
Not as interesting as the Great Emu War of 1932, but still an interesting story. But yeah, there was a time, just to synopsize, there was a time in CC where if you posted any content from what's it called, My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, you were instantly banned. And I'm not joking. Well, obviously that rule has been changed. I should also mention that at the time there were a lot more stories of people who were into those particular cartoons who were rather predatory in their real lives. So that kind of
Oh, Cornflake. I'm gonna server mute you, kid.
Hi.
That was loud.
And to be another way of putting it, at the time the subject was very volatile, very much like if somebody right now were to make a drug reference in one of the channels or asked about pirating software or anything of that nature, our response would be rather draconian because we've had rules about that for a very long time. Well, at the time, the My Little Pony thing was able to evoke such a response, but not anymore.
things have calmed down a bit. We
Yes.
try to run the server with these days with as few rules as possible, only the ones we feel are really needed. And if there's someone running around causing problems around an issue, say My Little Pony, these days we try to remove the problem person rather than banning My Little Pony or insert whatever issue here.
Correct.
Because we've learned that
You have to
ban
understand.
an issue, they just raise another.
You have to understand, if you haven't been around CC for very long, that the years that I'm talking about, we had more than 1,000 active members. Our forums probably got somewhere in the neighborhood of 300-400 posts a day. We had 25 council members who tended to run entire departments because we had so many different teams going. We had 16 game servers. It was a big deal. So you can imagine anything that rocked that particular boat was pretty noticeable. Nowadays we're a lot more relaxed and a lot more, like as Kessa said, we tend to go after the problem people rather than the problem issue. Back then we had so many people, we had to attack the problem first. So I mean, there's so many opinions in this world about. That's why I was saying things like pirated software, for example. You can have your opinion, but if you're in CC and you mention pirated software, it's a quick way to get kicked immediately. It's against the rules, 100%. That's one of those shoot first, ask questions later topics, just for people that don't know. Alrighty, last call. Anybody have any open meeting topics, questions, thoughts, concerns, one-liner jokes, puns? Not exactly, Doctor. But it's also not constitutional America.
It looks like things are going off the rails, as Ongriff would say, as he closed Bible study, and it's time for a game event.
Alrighty, we want to tell everybody that that would be, as usual, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. We have a command here in this channel. It's the docket command, and it allows you to add your particular issue to the agenda for a meeting. And so, like, if you don't think you're going to be there, or if you just want it to be something official that's talked about, you're more than welcome to use the docket command. And last but not least, as always, if you have something you want to be brought up in a meeting, but maybe you want it brought up anonymously or something, feel free to message any of our leaders. I'll be more than happy to speak on it without mentioning who you are or why you brought it up. And in light of that, at this time, I will say thank you for coming to the meeting, and all of our leaders that are interested, please jump into the closed session channel, and we'll hang out there for a couple minutes and realize we have nothing to talk about and start the game night.